One of the most common mistakes I see is people taking heart supplements without knowing what they do or if they actually work. Today I'm going to show you the top 5 supplements that do have real research behind them, the ones that might help in the right context, and a few popular ones that honestly just don't live up to the hype. This is all based on independent reviews, and if you care about your heart, this matters because cardiovascular disease is still the #1 cause of death worldwide. For this video, I've used research summaries from examine.com. This is one of the most respected independent supplement review databases available. They don't receive any outside funding and they have no sales agenda. So this is about what actually works in human studies, and I've researched this in depth because of my own cardiovascular issues and wanting to find the best things to help me. But supplements don't replace diet and lifestyle factors, as exercise and things like the Mediterranean diet still have the strongest evidence for improving cardiovascular outcomes. Supplements are supplementary to that. And #1 is omega-3 fish oils. Think EPA and DHA. Omega-3s are probably the most studied supplement for heart health. Let's start with the supplements that have the strongest overall evidence. And they have the strongest evidence for lowering triglycerides, and that effect is very consistent across multiple studies. Where people get confused is thinking that omega-3s are just a universal heart disease cure-all. They're not. The benefits are most meaningful if your triglycerides are elevated, you have low baseline omega-3, and also if you're getting a high enough dose of a good quality product. In other words, omega-3s work best when there's a problem to fix. And when I do testing with clients, most people come back low in omega-3s, unless they're eating 3 to 4 serves of fatty fish a week like sardines, mackerel, salmon. So for most people, taking an omega-3 supplement makes sense. And this is something that I do on a daily basis. Supplement #2 is magnesium, and magnesium is one of the most underrated cardiovascular supplements. Low magnesium status is associated with a higher blood pressure, worse insulin sensitivity, one of the big triggers for cardiovascular disease, and increased cardiovascular risk overall. Supplemental magnesium tends to produce modest but reliable reductions in blood pressure, especially in people who are deficient, and many people are. If I had to pick one supplement most people aren't getting enough of, this would be near the top of the list. Testing serum magnesium levels is not reliable. The best option is RBC magnesium. And there's no downside if you can't get a good quality magnesium test. It's just take a good quality magnesium glycinate or taurate on a daily basis. It has many benefits besides cardiovascular health. Have you ever had your magnesium RBC levels tested, or do you just take magnesium because you know it's good for you? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious how many people have actually tested their levels, and there's no right or wrong answer. Taking magnesium without testing is totally fine. Supplement #3 is Coenzyme Q10. CoQ10 is a great example of a supplement that doesn't necessarily prevent heart disease, but it helps the heart function better. It plays a key role in mitochondrial energy production, which matters a lot for heart health. CoQ10 has the strongest evidence for preventing heart failure, people taking statin medications, and it can improve symptoms like fatigue and exercise tolerance. If you're taking statins, it's important to add CoQ10 because statins can block the body's production of CoQ10, so adding supplemental magnesium can help to bypass this problem. So CoQ10 won't really change your cholesterol numbers, but it improves how the heart works. Supplement #4 is soluble fiber. And this can surprise many people because fiber doesn't really feel like a supplement, especially a hard supplement. But soluble fiber, especially fiber like psyllium husk, has some of the strongest evidence for lowering LDL levels naturally. It improves blood sugar control, gut health, and insulin sensitivity, all of which feed directly into lowering your cardiovascular risk. If psyllium was a drug, it would be constantly prescribed, and doctors often prescribe supplements like Metamucil, which is like a processed flavored version of psyllium. You can just buy a simple psyllium husk and just increase the level slowly, otherwise you can get GI effects. Supplement #5 is plant sterols. Plant sterols reliably reduce LDL cholesterol by decreasing how much cholesterol you absorb from the gut. But just lowering LDL doesn't always mean lower cardiovascular risk. There's a number of other factors like inflammation that can affect things, but lowering LDL is consistently shown to improve cardiovascular outcomes. Alongside sterols, there's a similar but different supplement worth mentioning, and that's bergamot. It's not a sterol, it's a citrus extract rich in bioflavonoids, and instead of blocking cholesterol absorption in the gut, it appears to reduce the body's production of cholesterol. And there's good human evidence that bergamot can help to lower LDL. There's good human evidence that bergamot can help to lower LDL and also triglycerides, particularly in people with metabolic dysfunction like insulin resistance. I'll leave some links to the recommended products in the description below. Now, there are a few supplements that might help, but only in the right context. Consider this as a bonus section. Garlic can produce reductions in blood pressure and cholesterol. The effect can change from person to person, and the best supplement to look out for is called kyolic garlic. Green tea, and in particular EGCG from green tea, show mild improvements in cardiovascular markers, especially when used consistently over time. Vitamin K2, which is another one that I take daily, helps to reduce vascular calcification. The data is still emerging, but it's showing strong evidence that taking K2 can reduce down your risk of cardiovascular events. Now, this next section is important because a lot of people are spending money on the supplements that sound great, but maybe actually don't deliver. High-dose antioxidant supplements like vitamin E, beta-carotene have not been shown to have a cardiovascular benefit, and in some populations, they can even increase risk. They may be beneficial for other things, but not cardiovascular health. Whereas Resveratrol looks amazing on paper, and there's no downsides to taking it, the human data is weak, specifically for cardiovascular health. Niacin can also improve cholesterol levels, but the research shows that it doesn't actually improve cardiovascular outcomes, and there's many side effects, so it's probably not the best one to take. And also watch out for these heart health blends that have a little bit of everything in them. They may have great ingredients and even some of the ones I've mentioned, but for example, if it has a small amount of omega-3, it's not going to be that effective. You really need a dedicated omega-3 supplement. And here's another issue that I see with clients in clinic. Most people are looking at different supplements to take without actually knowing their cardiovascular risk. Total cholesterol and LDL is not enough. You need to check markers like apolipoprotein B, lipoprotein A, insulin-resistant markers, inflammation markers like high-sensitive C-reactive protein, ideally tumor necrosis factor, interleukin-6, and other markers like homocysteine to know the right supplements that you need for you. You can ask your doctor to test these markers, but if you want the most advanced cardiovascular test available, I recommend the CardioZoomer. This mentions everything I've listed in this video, plus a lot more, and it's the best way to find out the underlying cause of your cardiovascular risk. And if you want a more detailed understanding of the CardioZoomer test, watch this video next where I review this test in detail.